All right, welcome to the Cult of Cinema. My name is Aaron, and today we're talking about collecting, or more specifically, collecting TV in 2025, TV shows. See, deciding what to get and how to get it can be a bit daunting, whether it's a new release, a different release, an upgraded release, and even upgraded release sometimes have different versions out. We'll talk about that when we talk about Bewitched as well, but with TV on DVD, Blu-ray, and sometimes 4K, which one is meant for you and when and where should you upgrade? Let's chat about that right here today in the Cult of Cinema. So a few years ago when I was living in St. John's, I'd gone to out to go video hunting. Wasn't quite sure what I wanted, but I knew that I was hopefully going to find something. And I stumbled across some sets. And one of them was this here set that Sony put out for the series Bewitched. Now I'd gotten this one fairly cheap. It was, I think, around $20 to $25 for the complete series, and I felt pretty good about it. I love the artwork on it. Bewitched is a favorite series of mine that I watched when I was young. I got it open and still the inside of it looked pretty good. And for the longest time, this was the Bewitched that I went for. Literally, really what they did, because these were put in single season sets before, was they put them all together, put them on two spindles, packaged them, and that's what you got. It was how Bewitched was for the longest time. Now, eventually, Mill Creek would put out a DVD edition of this themselves, and the version from Mill Creek, because this one has, I think, a lot as more discs than the Mill Creek one. So that Sony tended to be the one to go with, though I do like the compact and the ease of and the price on the Mill Creek sets. I just lucked out on that one there. And that was okay until recently. See, more recently, we got two more choices when it came from Bewitched. And they were very, very different. First, we'd have the one right up here, which is the other Mill Creek one that kept getting pushed back. It was a Blu-ray set. It was going to be 22 discs. There was going to be more new features on here. There was going to be a book in it. It was going to be a loaded set. Something that I was extremely excited to get, and because I do review for Mill Creek and have for a while, I knew that was going to come across my desk sooner or later as a review copy. Also, in the meantime, in the interim, a company out of Australia named Imprint, which is the subset of Viavision, they're kind of the prestige label, started an Imprint television line. And Imprint's line of television releases was done to be a prestige set and meant to be a bit more expensive. See, the Bewitched one wouldn't come out as a complete series. It would come out as seasons 1 and 2 on 15 discs with a hard-bound case and a hardcover perfect bound book as well. The cost would be a lot more, and it's right up here so you can see what it kind of looks like. The Mill Creek set runs around $169 on retail, but you can often find it between $50 to $60 on sale, whether on Amazon or one of the other sites. For the season 1 and 2 of Bewitched, that initially came out for around $189 Australian, and the following seasons came out at $149, but usually were on sale for approximately $129. Now, just to give you an idea of the difference in that, because we are talking about a different what the different costs would be. So 189 in Australian dollars would be around 120 in US dollars, and So there's definitely a difference in the cost, and even after you do the conversion. But they're meant for a different subset of people. At one point, the Sony set was the only one we got, and then to get what would eventually be a cheaper set, the Mill Creek set, and to have all the series was an exciting option to have, because the Sony set eventually got expensive again. I lucked out when I got the Sony set for extremely cheap. I don't even think that's in print anymore. You can let me know if it is. But they're for different people. Luckily, both of these are now loaded with special features. Obviously, there's more discs with the imprint set. If there's 15 discs for seasons 1 and 2, and approximately around the same amount for every season after that, and the entire series for the Mill Creek one is 22 discs, there's a difference there. There's something to see. And then there's the cost aspect of it. The imprint set is going to be a bit pricier when you put it together, a lot pricier. And for a lot of people, if they want to buy Bewitched, it's memories of their childhood, memories of their past, and they're glad to be able to get that, but they may not want to break the bank on it. It may not be their favorite show. It may be just something that they're happy to have and happy to get in any format that they can possibly get it. They'd probably grab the DVD set if they could, but to get the Blu-ray set at a decent price, especially when it's on sale, probably like an Amazon Day, Prime Day or something like that, they'll probably pick it up. Now, there's all other people that are going to want the prestige editions, want to have all those imprint hard boxes of Bewitched right alongside on their shelf because they love imprint, and they love the label, or they love Bewitched, and they really want to have the best edition possible. I go back and forth on which type of person I am now. I'm lucky. I'm kind of blessed in the fact that if I really, really want to, I could probably save up and, get the imprint edition to go alongside of that, and have one for my for the farm, and have the more kind of prestige edition for when I'm here at the at the condo. And I thought about that, but season 1 and 2 are sold out right now, and I know they'll probably come back with a standard edition. They sometimes do that. Did that with one of the Tales of Adventure, or maybe they won't. We'll see. But if I'm going to spend the extra money for something like that, then I'm probably not going to buy a standard edition when the rest of them would be, the big editions. And then there's the aspect of kind of the purity of the way that's done. The modern day televisions are widescreen. They usually have shows that are in our other a 1:8:5, a 2:3:5 aspect ratio. So a lot of the older shows, when they were shot for a regular CRT television set, which ran at a 1:3:3, 1:3:7. Now, a lot of the older shows have been converted into 1:8:5 aspect ratio. So they're not actually doing the original aspect ratio, but they're trying to make them so that a more modern audience that may not know as much about the shows aren't bothered by a black line on either side of the screen. Some people actually think, and I know this from days when I used to sell movies, that when they see like black bars either on top or bottom, or black bars any of the sides, that they're missing part of the picture. So a lot of companies now, what they will do is they'll go ahead and they'll convert it to a 1:8:5 aspect ratio for the TV. So when choices were being made to put out each set, Mill Creek either chose, or the elements that they were given was for the modern viewer, which was the 1:8:5 aspect ratio, not the original aspect ratio, which Imprint decided to go with. So on a purity level, it really depends on how you want to see it. Neither way is wrong or incorrect. Now, some Puritans would tell you that if it's not the 1:3:3, oh no, but it's how you enjoy it. There is no wrong way to enjoy something that you enjoy. So where do you go with Bewitched? Well, whichever way is most comfortable for you, whether it's in pocketbook is going to be one of the factors, whether it's the fact that you want it in that aspect ratio, whether you want the special features, where you want the less compression, because again, 22 discs versus, well, probably around 60 is definitely going to be there's going to be a bit of a difference there. Now, The Blu-ray, from what I've seen, hasn't had any real kind of compression issues. But again, there is a massive difference in the discs. There will be a difference in the in-slate picture quality overall. And then you look at the features that you want. Do you want the big edition? Do you want all the books and stuff like that? Mill Creek does come with a really nice book this time around, but maybe you just want the Perfect Band books. Maybe you're a really massive fan of the series. Then Imprint's got your back that way. The good thing is, either way, there's choice. And whichever choice you choose, honestly, it's the right choice, because it's a choice that you made when you looked at and discussed the different factors on how you want to go with it. Now, for me, I have the Sony edition of Bewitched, and I have the Blu-ray edition from Mill Creek. Would I buy the imprint edition? If season 1 and 2 weren't already sold out, I probably would. I recently started to get some of the imprint stuff, and I was very impressed with what I got. Would that mean that I would get rid of the other editions? No, I have a condo here and have a movie library at my farm. I would probably put one of the editions over there, so I'm able to watch them wherever I go. I do tend to watch series like that, and I Dream of Jeannie is another one of those shows that I kind of grew up with. But that's just one aspect when it comes to collecting TV. Let's talk about the flip side of it all. One of my favorite shows from my youth is V, the series. I remember watching the miniseries when it came on TV initially and being absolutely fascinated with it, being excited when I heard in Starlog magazine that they were going to be doing a actual TV series. Watching the TV series, watching V, the Final Battle, collecting the DC comic book that came out, and any issue of Starlog magazine that had V in there, I had to have it. It was one of my favorite shows. We had Mark Singer. The TV series would bring us, of course, Michael Ironside as Ham. We would have Robert Englund in a good guy role. Just an incredibly well done series. Now, when I went to Spain more recently, I found this, V, the complete series. So if I had V, the series, why did I pick this up? What's the reasoning for grabbing something like this? Well, it's more than the sum of its parts. I recently started rewatching Dallas, the series. I have the complete series on DVD. And one thing that I've noticed as I've started to rewatch it, especially the seasons with the double-sided discs, is that there are glitches. There are issues with some of the episodes that I watch, and there are points where I just had to skip through about a third of an episode because of degradation, because it's not working, because it's glitching, because it's stopping. Even after trying to clean it and buff it and all that type of stuff, nothing really worked. And it got me to thinking about some of my other shows and stuff that was double-sided. One of the things about a double-sided disc is, well, initially they did it like that because you have content on both sides. It would save space. You wouldn't have as many discs. But it also means that you are probably at a much bigger chance, no matter how nice it looks on the outside, of having issues with the disc. That's eventually going to be a problem. And the issue with that is some of my favorite shows of all time are on double-sided discs. So what do you do with that? Well, see, that's what happened with the Series V. This was the first set that I had that had those issues, that had the disc that kind of just didn't work, didn't stop. Actually, it's the second. The first one I had was Kolchak, the Night Stalker. I don't think I've ever had an edition of that that's worked out and out with every episode. I had to go through different means to see the episode Chopper because it just never happened. And this is a great looking edition. I love the silver, the color of it, the way that it's done, the picture of the amazingly gorgeous Jane Badler. But I wanted to watch my show, and I wanted to watch it in completion. So when I got to Spain, I found out that there was a set that included the V miniseries, the VTV series and V the Final Battle, I was really happy. But I still wasn't sure if I was going to pick it up. One thing was going to make the big difference. See, if I had to go through another V series that was flipper discs, I don't think I could have taken that chance. This cost a bit more than the initial one did. Actually, no, they probably cost around the same, but you have to take it into the time frame that they were bought in. That was bought a few years earlier. So I looked at every one of these discs as they were being put in there to make sure that none of these were flipper discs, and none of them luckily were. Check the back, and each of these looked to be an incredible addition. And it had a box that passed the knock test, so you can't go wrong with that. Now I have V, the complete series. I just passed up on a season, actually there's 2 seasons of Miami Vice that were there. This one right here, season 1, by the way, this is one of the greatest shows ever made. And that's 3 discs. The season 1 from Spain is an 8-disc set. I think you can be sure there's no flipper disc. And even season 2 runs at a 6-disc set. Now, whereas this one cost me probably around $30 per set when I bought these initially, the Spanish ones anywhere between 10 to 15 euros. If you get at a CX, sometimes a bit less, but it's managing to track them all down. That's always the case right now. And there is that factor going in there as well of, well, let's put in the Mill Creek factor again, who recently put out a Blu-ray edition of Miami Vice. How do I know? Because my cousin Roger picked it up, bought it from a deep discount, and it had quite the journey of getting to his house, but it finally got there. So what do I do? Do I buy the Blu-ray edition to get the series, or do I look for like the slightly cheaper edition and try to find it through Spain or the UK? Because their flipper discs were more of a thing in North America than they were over in Europe. They tended to do the series with, as far as I've seen it, with less flipper discs. If you buy Dallas, the complete series from the UK, there is nary a flipper disc in sight. So when do you upgrade? When do you change? When do you decide? Well, sometimes the decision's made for you, because like some of my shows, like my Kolchak the Night Stalker that I once had and no longer have any copy of, stops working. Or in some cases, it never worked right in the first place. Other times, it's just a matter of time and convenience. You may come across a set like this at a very reasonable good price to upgrade and get the release non-flipper, or maybe it's along the lines of the Bewitched set, where you've held on to your amazing Sony DVD edition, and all of a sudden you've given not one but 2 choices to upgrade it to a Blu-ray format. We won't even get into 4K, because I will say this right now, and I know that Friends has come out on 4K and Seinfeld's come out on 4K. Unless they're extremely cheap, and even at that point, it really had to be really cheap, I don't think I would upgrade, because it may look great, but I don't think Friends or Seinfeld would be shows that I would need in 4K. I'd probably be looking more towards more of an action-oriented, or like a sci-fi or a fantasy show for something like that. And even then, it's got to be at a certain time frame. The one thing about a lot of the early like sci-fi and fantasy shows is that the thing is that a lot of these effects will not stand the test of time on a 4K disc. It's going to make it look glaringly worse. TV on DVD definitely has a place. TV on Blu-ray is great in that the longevity is better for it. See, Blu-ray is more proven for longevity-wise over DVD and actually over 4K. So if you're looking to buy things for and you get them at a cheap price on Blu-ray, well, that's probably your best bet. It's going to last the longest. If it's a TV show that you really like, you're probably going to be watching it and rewatching it. I know that's what I do with my shows. But being able to find them on DVD is, for me, as long as it's like straightforward discs and it's not a flipper, it's good. It's a perfectly reasonable way to go about it. Have I answered your questions? Probably not. Have I given you more questions to think about when you're making your decision to answer it yourself? Hopefully I did. And hopefully we each learned a bit more about what we want, how we want to get it, and when and if we should upgrade. Now, Imprint TV. It is pricey. It's not for everybody. But if you find a show that you really like, something that you want and have in the best possible condition, it is a good choice. When we were going through, when we were traveling, we'd stopped overnight into Ontario. And it was my better half, I think it was the first time in Ontario. And we walked down along Yonge Street with the kids. And we went into a shop that's not there anymore. And he had a bunch of like shows and old stuff. And she came across her favorite show of all time. It was they had 2 A&E sets of it there. And she was blown away. It was Persuaders. Roger Moore, Tony Curtis, an amazing show. So she picked it up, excitedly brought it up to the counter and got it. It was used, but the disc looked to be in good condition. As soon as we got home, we started watching the show. About a year later, we were walking through a store, and we saw Persuaders again in a slimline, like DVD case for complete series for under $10. You can bet that we picked that up to have that second copy of her favorite show. Now, since then, they've done an upgraded Blu-ray copy of Persuaders from Imprint TV with a big special edition. Would she pick that up? Well, I'm not her. We're different people. Just like you watching this right now, we're different people. I can't decide for her and make decisions for her any more than I can decide and make decisions for you. I can just put it out there in the ethos and hope that each of us eventually choose the decision that's right for us. My name is Aaron. Enjoy your collecting. Don't let it stress you out. Have fun with it. At the end of the day, this should be something that makes you sit back and relax. And for the next 45 minutes, an hour, half hour, whatever, you're in a place of happiness, a place of contentment, and you're feeling good. Don't let collecting be something that stresses you out. I'll see you next time, right here in the Call to Cinema.
Oh God. Subscription sloth here. Just want to remind you that I know in the summertime especially it can be super warm and lazy. But if you're liking this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to go that step further and join the Patreon, there's a link for that down below. You can super sticker, super chat, or donate. But above all, just lie back and enjoy the video, because that's what I'm going to do.